Hello, this is Spellbinder with this news article. It seems like they're can't wait to take away our rights. For some reason, when a few people get killed, suddenly everyone's punished for it. It's like 9/11 was worse, and they're trying to say this is like a 9/11. This is nothing like a 9/11 at all. Lawmakers consider new curves to incendiary speech. These monsters, I can't believe they're blowing this all out of proportion. It says, since a few people got killed, we gotta take away your rights. Right. Why don't we just take away their rights and fire them all? They need to all be fired from Capitol Hill if they're thinking this way. This is craziness. This is madness. They're going to take away your rights for a few people's deaths and then say you can't have free speech because of a few. It's punishing the many for the few. And that's just not right. That's the opposite of what everything is. These draconian creatures, I swear they were waiting for this to happen so they could do this. I just know they were. I know they were up to no good. They probably even made it happen, is the only thing I can say, because no one would react like this unless they had a agenda to go by. Something that had set up, ready to go when this happened. It says, shocked and saddened lawmakers gripped on Monday with the weekend shooting of one of their own, with some suggestion that new laws and regulations are needed to curb incendiary speech. The aftermath of Sunday's attack on Representative Gabrielle Giffords, Democrat of Arizona, brought a rare moment of unity on Capitol Hill, but it also escalated contentious debate over violent imagery of the nation's political discourse. Yeah, if you guys are doing your job, we wouldn't be disgruntled. But you're not doing your job. You're following the UN's job. You rather bow down to the UN than the American people that put you in there. This just makes me mad to see them doing this type of craziness. It says Representative Bill Passell, Democrat of New Jersey, was having a beer and eating a pizza in New Jersey bar when he heard the news via the television. Soon thereafter, he was contacted by his staff and was on the phone with other House members. Yes, it's happened. We can go ahead with the bills to take away more rights from the American people. It's something overwhelming. We are all flabbergasted, stunned, he said, while noting the obvious difference between the two events. He also said Saturday reminds him of 9/11. Reminds him of 9/11. 9/11, over 3,000 people died. 3 buildings came down, and 10,000 others have been affected by that. This is like a pinprick. I couldn't believe I was really seeing this. This can't be real, he told The Hill in an interview Monday. An emotional Passell added, all of us at the bar prayed. Representative Jack Kingston, Republican of Georgia, said he had just finished giving a speech when he learned of the assassination attempt. As soon as I stepped off stage, they told me, Kingston said, noting that he was with his family at the time. There wasn't much that we could do but to play. Several leading House Democrats blamed the inflammatory rhetoric for contributing to the Tucson massacre, while the Republicans denounced criticism of former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin following the tragedy. Yeah, see, they're pointing fingers at each other, and they're just having a heyday with this. But it's all coming together that they're both going to work together to take away more American rights, make us more closer to a police state than we are already. It's just one lawmaker, Robert Brady, Democrat of Pennsylvania, has said he would introduce a bill to make it a crime to threaten or incite violence against federal official. People, that this guy, Gerald Longner and Gifford, both went to the same synagogue, and they were both Jewish, and they both knew each other. It's becoming known, and this is just being blown totally out of proportion. They're using this for their advantage to take away our rights. I'm just seeing this. Representative Louis Slaughter, new Democrat of New York, suggested the Federal Communication Commission was not working anymore, adding she would look at ways to better police language on the airwaves. Yeah, see, more ways of taking away more freedoms of things. It's the TV doing it. It's the airwaves. Everything you see on TV. Well, I can agree a part of that, but now they're just watch. This is becoming a domino effect against the American people. A brick was thrown through the window of Slaughter's district office last year. Well, there's been bricks thrown through everyone's windows. I've heard this story before. People get mad when you're not doing what you were put in there to do. And you sit there and deny them and sit there and snub your nose up at them at meetings, at public meetings and stuff. And people try to tell you stuff and you just sit there and stick your nose up in the air and go, I'm above you. Yeah, Slaughter cited Palin's use of gun sights to target Democrats last year's election in the assertion by Nevada Senate candidate Sharon Angle, Republican, that Second Amendment remedies might be needed to stop the Democratic agenda. See, they're using this to their advantage so much, to demonize the American people. There's nothing else to summarize from that than that people should be shot, Slaughter told reporters on the conference call. I mean, it really is terrible. Yeah, they all use those symbols and stuff. It's called, never mind. What I'd like to see is if we could all just get along together, get together on both sides of the aisle, Democrats and Republicans, and really talk about what we can do to cool down the country, Slaughter said. Part of that has to be what we're hearing over the airwaves. Representative James Clyburn of South Carolina, the third-ranking House Democrat, also referred Angle's Second Amendment statement from the campaign. He saw a Second Amendment remedy, and that's what occurred here, and there is no way not to make that connection, Clyburn told Charleston Post and Courier, referring to the alleged gunman Gerald Lee Logner. The Saturday shooting immediately put the legislative agenda of the new Republican majority on hold. See, everything this did had something in response that could be used to stop whatever was promised by the Republicans. I mean, this smells high heaven of pre-planned somehow. And if it wasn't, they're using it fully to their advantage. The GOP leaders postponed a vote on the health care repeal bill scheduled for Wednesday, along with all other legislation not related to the tragedy. See, now they're just going to concentrate on the tragedy, take away people's rights. A few bad apples destroy the world. That's what they're doing. It's always been that way. I don't know why it is. That's just evil. It's opposite of what it should be. A few bad apples shouldn't make everyone stronger, but no, it makes everyone weaker. Congressional leaders and staff gathered on Capitol steps Monday for a moment of silence, and the House will approve a resolution honoring Giffords and other victims on Wednesday. Man, lawmakers said that they expect the House to return to the repeal vote next week, but no schedule has been announced. Further decisions on the legislative schedule will be announced at a later date, but this institution has an obligation to move forward in doing the business of the people at the appropriate time, said Brad Dayspring, a spokesman for the majority leader Eric Cantor, Republican of Virginia. Democrats are already warning against a return to a diversive rhetoric of last year's healthcare debate. See, now they're using it so they're going to compromise on this healthcare bill, and it's not going to get rid of it at all. It's not going away. See, that's why this smells high heaven of being pre-planned, because it's stopping everything that everyone was saying they're going to do and take care of and fix. And nothing's going to get fixed. Nothing's going to be repealed. Ooh. Representative Chili Pingree, Democrat Maine, urged Republicans to change the name of the repeal bill, which is titled the Repeal of the Job-Killing Health Care Law Act. Oh, see, now they're going to make them change the name because they don't want to kill it. They just want you to change the name of it and put it in there anyways. I'm not suggesting that the name of that piece of legislation somehow led to the horror of this weekend, But it's really necessary to put the word killing in the title of a major piece of legislation? Oh my golly, this is just getting worse and worse day by day after the shooting. The GOP leadership declined an official comment, but the Republican aide said, "It sounds like Congresswoman Pingree is trying to politicize the tragedy, and that's a shame." Yes, it is. That's a shame to politicize a tragedy of people's lives being killed and turn it into an agenda for their own purpose. That is just wrong. Republicans pushed back against the suggestion that their rhetoric had any way contributed to the Tucson tragedy, and they pointed out that the Democrats were just as guilty of relaying on violence metaphors and imagery. That's right. You can't use violent metaphors because it may set somebody off somewhere in the universe. Tom Cole, Oklahoma, a former chairman of the National Republican Congressman Committee, blamed the media for pointing fingers at Pauline and the Tea Party over the use of targets on the Democrats. That I kind of agree with, just because, this guy was probably on Prozac, other medications, and it probably just set him off. Or he might have got something that she did that he didn't like, and he knew her and he got mad at her, and I'm not going to say what I think, though I should. Maybe it was a lover's spat. That's all I'm going to say. This attack on Sarah Palin is outrageous. He said in an interview, "Give me a break. I've made my living in politics. The word targeting is not a new word in the political lexicon. That's just something that is normal in terms of how you're going to politicalize your political efforts." Nowhere I'm saying the lover's spat was on his side. Maybe he had some fantasy of being a lover to her or something, and he saw that she wasn't giving him his attention, so he just went and shot her and decided to take out a few others under his delusional drug phase of Prozac that he was probably on, because they said he was under medication. Anywho, the Oklahoma Republican added, "I never heard the Tea Party preaching violence. I've heard them preaching participation." Kingston said that Primer County Sheriff Clarence Dupnick got the ball rolling by blaming the shooting on the vilectic speech. He pointed out that the President Obama has used gun language in his speeches. How does Sarah Palin get criticism and not the President Obama for saying they're come after us with knives, we'll come after them with guns? Yeah, see how that works? Meanwhile, Senator Joe Manchin, Democrat of West Virginia, released a statement Monday defending the campaign ad last year in which he is shown shooting a bullet through a Democratic cap-and-trade bill. The act in the deranged madman who commits a horrific act should not and cannot be confused with a metaphor about a piece of legislation, Manchin said. "I have never targeted an individual, and I never would." And there's the story. That's what's going on here. I'm telling you, people, they're setting us up, and either by design or by happening or by tragedy. But they're setting us up, and this is just not right. We gotta tell them to stop their stupid bickering of this craziness, and we gotta keep telling them we're mad as hell and we're not going to take it anymore. You guys, we put you in there to do a job for the American people, not for the UN, not for the New World Order. You're in there to do your bidding to us, not to others. You are our servant. We are not your servant. We're not your slave. You're basically in there getting paid to be our slave. If you don't understand that, then you shouldn't be in the government there, congressmen and senators. You guys are in the wrong job if you think you're there to rule over us. Man, this is just wrong. I'm going to leave it here for now, but I just had to report on this because this is just making me mad that they're using this incident, the few, to punish the many and take away the constitutional rights of the First and Second Amendment from people. And it's just wrong. It's bad enough they already got half of the Fourth Amendment taken away by all this other stuff they're doing, like mandatory blood testing on the side of the road and stuff in some places, and they're starting to go with. And that's a violation of your body. Your personal self is part of the Fourth Amendment. And that includes everything from drug testing to everything that they've been doing and calling it legal because you wouldn't want somebody doing this or that, would you? It's the same thing. Well, until next time, this is Spellbinder with this updated news report. Be good at it. Good day.